Discussion Post 2, Chapter 4. When reporting about the data using mean, you leave out important details that could affect your overall mean. When you are providing only the mean, you are not giving a clear accusation of your test results. When I say that, what do I mean exactly? You're not providing those people that kind of are rare in the group and have tested below or above the very much average of the group as a whole. For example, if I was giving a test to my students and I had one student that scored a 10, one student scored a 70, I had three students that scored an 80, I had one student that scored 110. My mean will look as if the majority of my kids scored in the low 70s, but in all actuality, the majority of them scored in the 80% group. But because I'm only looking at the mean, then it looks as if the majority of the group only made in the low 70s instead of the majority, which had the high 80 or the mid 80%. So when you're given just the mean, you're leaving out important data that could be very helpful and beneficial in explaining why your scores are looking the way that they are looking. And it's because of those factors that do not fall in the average of what your other test subjects have shown. Chapter 5. When looking at the Z-score, you have to be mindful of the fact of the matter that the Z-score puts everything on one particular graph. There's not, so it allows for you to be able to look at your scores of different tests in one area, which is very helpful when comparing your data for something such as admissions. Because the admissions, you are placing all the students' tests on one key data sheet. It allows for you to easily be able to look and understand the difference in the scores and the data and that you are provided, because again, so many students are taking different tests and exams, and they are sending these things to admission, and this allows for you to be able to look and distinguish between the two, what is the best score. So when you're looking at the Z-score, it's very beneficial in showing you what is their deviation, how far are they above or below the average norm of the group on any of the tests. Such as if you have a student that is showing that there are two standard deviations above, then they're going to be above two standard deviations above the mean, or the so therefore they have a higher score than what your average student or mean is. If you're looking at someone who has one standard deviation above the mean, then there are, you can be able to see these things even though there are two different tests being given, which is very helpful again when you are looking at things such as the admission or the overall admissions of a student just based off of their test or examination scores for admission. Chapter 6. When looking at probability, I feel the best way to explain it is that probability is the chance of an event happening once you put in all your key information about the situation, the chance of the situation happening, such as, for example, if I was in a classroom of 10 kids and I have this one student that does not enjoy doing independent task box work. Therefore, but I have noticed that if I give the student independent task box work, but I inform them within a schedule that the student does take part in this. And I've seen that every time that I've done this in the past 10 consecutive days, that they have taken part in the independent task bin work for 8 out of those 10 days, then I know and I've learned that I need to provide them with a schedule that states that after they completed this task, that their next task will be the independent work in the task boxes. Therefore, the student has an understanding of what will be next, and the probability that the student will complete the assignment is a lot greater due to the fact of the matter that they already have a general understanding of what will be next. And so when I put those factors together, that has me at the probability that the student would complete it, because I now have those factors, such as that if I give them an advance notice, if I make it so that they can see that they have this coming up, that they will complete it. So if I take things that I already know, that the probability of the student completing the task has therefore greatly improved and and now the student will be successful in completing this task.